Aaron, welcome to Deep Into Sleep podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be with you, Yishan.
Well, it's great to have you. I know actually we both live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and you are actually doing some startup company in Bay Area too. How about you introduce yourself to our audience first?
Of course, yeah. So Aaron Bromberg, I'm the CEO of StimScience. StimScience is a neurotechnology startup. We're based in Berkeley, California, and we're creating better sleep through neuroscience. Our company was founded by a team of elite neuroscientists, including Matthew Walker, who wrote the book on sleep. He wrote a bestseller called Why We Sleep that maybe some of your listeners have listened to. And we were founded in 2018, and since then we've been working on understanding the neuroscience of sleep and figuring out how we can use personalized brain stimulation to actually directly improve sleep.
That's definitely interesting. I definitely want to dig into that more to learn more about your products. But before that, I'm also curious about your own story, right? What made you going into the field of sleep?
Yeah, my background is in consumer products. I have years of experience launching and managing different consumer hardware and software brands at some big companies, including Amazon Devices, where I helped to launch early generations of the Kindle, the Fire tablets, and the Astro home robots, among some other products. You know, I really am a gadget guy at heart and loved working on all of those products. But at some point, I decided that I wanted to really focus my career on products that matter. And of course, the tablets or smart speakers that we worked on at Amazon matter to the people that buy them. But I really wanted to focus on products that had more of a potential to impact humanity. And I'm someone that has struggled with sleep for years and also has been sort of the sleep evangelist within my circle of family and friends. I'm the sleep sheriff at home where, you know, I'm constantly telling my kids that they need to get a good night's sleep, or, you know, others in my family about how important sleep is. And so when I started learning about the science that the science team has created at StimScience and started to see the potential to kind of marry my background in consumer products with the deep neurotechnology expertise that they had, I got really excited about it and, you know, couldn't wait to figure out how to take something that is truly breakthrough neurotechnology and turn it into an everyday consumer product.
Wow. So how to bridge the science and marketing to help us, like general public, to really benefit from something created in the lab, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm curious then, let's dive into the science part.
Sure.
Behind the StimScience, I know there are a lot of great scientists are doing that. On your website, I even see the YouTube video, right, talking about a little bit about the science. And for my podcast, I always want to discuss what's the science behind the sleep, behind your product exactly. So what is so unique about StimScience, about all this knowledge you learn that fascinates you and make you want to join and really push this to the market?
Yeah, well, when most people think of sleep, they think of the sleep environment. So you go into your room, you turn out the lights, you climb under the covers, you close the shades, and you fall asleep. But when sleep scientists think of sleep, they understand it as a brain activity. Sleep is actually a series of electrical patterns in the brain, where your brain progresses through stages from very high frequency chaotic waking activity to lower and lower and more predictable brain frequencies. And so what our scientists discovered at StimScience is that if we can very accurately measure the electrical patterns that your brain naturally goes through when you're falling asleep, then we can actually use non-invasive, safe brain stimulation to enhance and promote that pattern. So it's almost like getting a kid on a swing going. If you give them a push at just the right moment, then it's easy for the kid to keep swinging. It's the same thing with your brain when you're falling asleep.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. So you mean, I know when we sleep, our brain wave change, right?
That's
We
right.
have alpha wave, beta wave, and different sleep stage, the brain wave different. And I
That's right.
also know some people's brain waves are also unique, that some people, they are easily to more sensitive to noises, for example, to be waken up in the middle of sleep. So you are saying your technology is to help our brain to go into the sleep stage better, help the brain, does not change
That's right.
the brain wave itself, but just make it the timing of when it happened to adjust that. Is that right?
Basically, so the brain patterns that you have as you're falling asleep are more or less the same patterns for everyone, but the details are unique to you as an individual, just like your thumbprint. And so we use a system that includes an EEG sensor. That's just a type of biosensor that can very accurately detect brain patterns to read your sleep signature. And then by using that information and combining it with our stimulation algorithms, we can enhance your sleep signature so that it helps your brain to more predictably get into the pattern. So some people, when they're having trouble with sleep or struggling with sleep, they're, if you've ever had the experience of your mind racing at night and you can't fall asleep, it's actually your brain's not progressing from that wake state to that first stage of sleep or drowsiness. And our technology can help you get through that, and you'll feel yourself start to get drowsy after a 15-minute stim session. And then there are other people that, you know, they might fall asleep really quickly, but they wake up after an hour or two and have trouble falling back asleep. And similarly, our technology can detect if your brain is struggling with getting into the stage of deep sleep, where you stay asleep more reliably, and it can emphasize that aspect of your sleep signature so that you can not only fall asleep, but stay asleep.
Oh, that's so interesting. So really from a neurocognitive perspective to adjust our sleep, because thinking about when we treat insomnia, we help people change their sleep habits behaviorally, right?
Yes.
There's big part of work is cognitively, how we help people think differently. And I'm sure when people think differently, they view sleep differently, there's something internally changing. But for you, that's like long-term work. It's not that easy. It needs several sessions of work.
That's right.
And monitor sleep all day long. But for your technology, it's just 15 minutes. I find it's amazing. Just 15 minutes, adjust the brain wave and prepare people to sleep.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we've seen in both our sleep lab studies and in a broad scale home pilot that we did is that on average, when people have a night where they use our 15-minute stim session at home or in the lab, it cuts the time that it takes them to fall asleep in half. So it reduces sleep onset latency by 50%. And it reduces the amount of tossing and turning that they do over the course of that whole night by a third. And of course, as a sleep-focused company, we're very interested in having all of our customers also complement Somnee with, you know, all of the behavioral changes that go with good sleep health. So there's absolutely no reason why you can't be someone who is going through a course of cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, if you're an insomniac and you have an opportunity to get treated, and also use our headband. They're totally complementary.
Then is your headband, is there any research or preliminary data compare your headband with CBTI, this method, like how effective each of them are?
So we haven't done a study that combines them, but we have done a very controlled blind research study into our the effectiveness of our headband, of the Somnee headband. And what we saw is that in our sleep lab, where we can very carefully control the settings, so control the participants' bedtime and the sleep environment and the temperature and all the other variables that go into sleep. On average, nights where they had a StimScience STIM session, their sleep efficiency improved by 13%. And the benchmark that I've seen published for CBTI is 12% efficiency improvement on average. So we're right about at or just above the level of improvement that people tend to get with CBTI. And in terms of the response rate, again, we're slightly above what I've seen published for CBTI, meaning the percentage of people that that our technology can actually help is quite high and just above what cognitive behavioral therapy benchmarks at. But again, we want people to do both. As you know, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners know, it can be really hard for people to even have access to cognitive behavioral therapy. Many people live in places where they don't have an opportunity to work with a therapist. And even those that do, it's a big time commitment and involves a lot of difficult lifestyle changes. And so one of the things that's great about Somnee is anybody can do it. It just takes 15 minutes at night, and it gives you that sort of immediate boost that you can then use as a springboard to making other behavioral changes that might improve your sleep.
Okay. Yeah, I know cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia is the first line treatment. There's a lot of research behind it. And one reason when we do that is we don't want patients with insomnia really rely on anything to sleep. And that's definitely one question I have for high technologies like your products, and along with many other products on the market, is if people just need to put something on their head for 15 minutes and they can sleep better, how that really solve their worries, their stress? How can that help people learn how to sleep naturally? Do they have to rely on your product forever, or it's actually a short-term adjustment?
Yeah, it's a great question. When we've done a multi-month home pilot study with over 1,500 nights of data in the study. And what we saw is that the product is not habit forming, meaning people do not come to rely on it, but also that it's not habituating, meaning that over time, if people stop using it, they tend to regress to their baseline level of sleep. So it is the kind of thing where we expect people will use it over long periods of time, and it adapts as sleep behaviors change.
Okay. So sounds like, at least so far, it's something people rely on. It may works, but once stop using, they haven't really learned how to sleep naturally. So if they can,
I would say it is certainly providing very naturalistic sleep. So one thing that I do want to make very clear is that it's encouraging the brain to go through the sleep cycle that the brain would go through very naturally. It's not, there are some sleeping pills that can actually disrupt the natural sleep cycle and can impair healthy restorative sleep. Somnee does not do that. When people use our product and we track them in our sleep lab and score their sleep using polysomnography, using the same technique as any other sleep lab, it looks like a very healthy night's sleep, and all of their sleep metrics improve, including sleep efficiency, sleep duration, the brain patterns, so the ratio of deep sleep to lighter sleep, et cetera. All of those things look very healthy after a night of stimulation. So it's just helping people to get natural sleep.
Mm-hmm. So can I understand it this way that your the Somnee, right, which is a great name, easy to remember since we talk about insomnia. So sounds like Somnee definitely sounds safer, less side effects than medical like sleeping pills. So biologically or physically, it can help. By using it can help people enter a natural start, like a wave of sleep, just go through the night. The only question right now, I guess you guys are still doing more research on maybe the psychological component of like how that related with people's sleep. Because my concern is I always love to hear there are great products out there. I just want to know for example, people with really low SES, right? Like people in remote rural area, if they don't have money or resources to get access to products like this, or for people who tried and like it, but then later for some reason they don't have access to products like Somnee anymore, can they still learn how to make change psychologically to really help them feel less stressed, less worried, and be able to sleep naturally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very important point and a very important consideration. But what I would say is that there's no reason why someone couldn't or shouldn't use Somnee and complement it with lifestyle and behavioral changes. And in fact, in many ways, actually starting with a good night's sleep is a great way to actually kick off the process of making behavioral changes or lifestyle changes that can lead to longer term health benefits and sleep benefits. So, if someone has, for example, anxiety-induced insomnia, the research that I've seen says that it's actually the causation link goes both directions, meaning sometimes anxiety can lead to insomnia, but it's just as likely that poor sleep can lead to increased anxiety. And if you can introduce sort of a circuit breaker where you can get a good night's sleep, it can actually help you to reduce your anxiety the next day.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely like my podcast, I want to emphasize at the end of the podcast each time is sleep is such an individualized thing, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's different. Even for treatment wise, we start realizing certain treatment only work for a certain group of people. Even CBTI is such a gold standard first line treatment method, not for work for everyone. Right. And I do see a lot of patients clinically that because their life could be no other stressors, no other, traumas. It just, for some reason, something triggered insomnia, which then lasted. Then because of insomnia, they start focusing on that so much, they start developing like symptoms of depression and other things, even suicidality, ideation. So I can imagine for cases like that, using something like your product, Somnee, or for right now, many of them use sleeping pills, right? Could help them start sleeping better and then lead to the decrease or even, all the other problems eventually going to go away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we think of our product as we want it to be for everybody. Everybody sleeps, and sleep is so important to every aspect of mental and physical health that we want anyone that wants to sleep better to be able to benefit from Somnee. But we've seen with some of our early users, some of our pilot users, that it's really been life-changing for them to be able to start sleeping better because of the benefits that it has to their overall health. We had one customer who was a veteran. He had suffered from PTSD-induced insomnia for a long time. And he started using Somnee and came back, a month later and said that he feels 10 years younger. His doctors can't believe how much weight he's lost. He's walking 6 miles a day. It's like amazing the degree to which improving sleep can help you to improve other aspects of your life.
Right. So how important sleep could be, right, to our whole like mental health, well-being, health in general. Then because you have a lot of product related experience before. So I'm curious, there's so many sleep products right now out there. Like there are wearables, there are sleep trackers. I just came back from the sleep conference, which is the biggest sleep conference per year within America. So I saw so many products there too. What make you think make your Somnee so unique? What it can do that other products cannot do?
Yeah, it's a great question because there is there's a lot of products out there. Where Somnee is a sleep fixer, it's not a sleep tracker. And so the biggest difference with Somnee versus what I see with a lot of other products out there is it uses personalized brain stimulation to directly improve your sleep. It doesn't rely on tracking your sleep and just sharing data with you as a user, which I wear an Oura ring and I have a million ways of tracking my sleep and I enjoy looking at the data, but the reality is most normal people do not. They don't want to become, spreadsheet experts in tracking and trying to diagnose their own sleep or health issues. They want something that is safe, easy, and effective. And that's what we offer them that really they can't get from any other piece of wearable technology, because those other wearable technologies all focus on tracking problems, not fixing sleep problems.
I like that key component you mentioned, safe, easy, right? And effective. And whatever works, but not take a lot of effort. That's like a dream.
That's right.
But then technology, like a science point. Sorry, I've been kind of nerdy. I don't know how deep.
I love it.
I don't know how deep you can answer this question, but in such a short period of time, how can you individualize everyone's sleep pattern and brainwave pattern?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and I don't think it's nerdy at all. Maybe that just shows how nerdy I am, but I love this sort of discussion. But there are two ways that we personalize the stim session, the brain stimulation. One of them is based on your brain's what are called dominant frequencies. So you mentioned a little bit ago, everybody, when they're starting to fall asleep, their alpha brainwaves become dominant. That stage of sleep is associated with alpha brain activity. But your dominant alpha frequency might be 10.2 hertz, and mine might be 9.8 hertz. They're all kind of like, right around there, but the differences are minute, subtle differences that make a big difference in whether you're actually able to effectively promote sleep. And so measuring someone's dominant brainwaves, it actually doesn't take a lot of time. Usually, we just sort of collect a baseline reading at the beginning of the stim session. And after a couple of nights, we have a really good idea of what your brain's dominant frequencies are. And that allows us to do a really accurate, precise job of promoting those frequencies. So that's the type of personalization that we can do very effectively, but also very quickly. And then there are longer term things, which is your sleep patterns actually change over time as you age, but also seasonally as, many of us have different bedtimes on the weekend than we do on the weekdays. If we have, kids, then of course, as their sleep habits change, our sleep habits change. So those types of longer term changes are things that our models adapt to over a longer period of time. So that's not a quick thing, that's a long-term thing. But the quick one is measuring your precise dominant brain frequencies and then using that as an input to our stimulation.
Oh, I see. So the Somnee is something we put on the head before sleep, right? For 15
That's right.
minutes. So it possibly, does it only can detect the dominant brain wave before, like for the first stage of sleep, because later brain wave gonna change throughout the night.
Mhm.
And is there someone in the background have to manually adjust what's best for the person who are using it, or it's like a machine learning type of thing?
It's machine learning. There's no one in the background personalizing the stim sessions. It's all done automatically using our algorithms.
Mhm.
And the answer is it can detect all of your dominant brain frequencies just in that time when you're wearing it at bedtime. And then at the end of the 15-minute session, you can take it off and put it on your bedstand. You don't have to wear it all night, but if you fall asleep during the stim session, we designed the product to be very comfortable so you can sleep with it all night and it won't impair your sleep. I actually have one here just in case this gets shown on video.
Great. So for
put
whoever
it on.
listeners who are watching our Deep Into Sleep YouTube channel, you can see what it look like.
So it's and Yishan, you can keep me honest here, but I think it's really cool looking and also very comfortable and very compact. And so I find it to be really relaxing to just put on for 15 minutes at bedtime. And then at the end of the stim session, I'm usually still awake. I try to read a book during my 15-minute stim session. And so at the end of that, I just take it off and put it on the charger on the bedstand and then fall asleep naturally. And it still has that benefit of improving my sleep for the whole night.
If you do that before sleep, and sounds like you can read a book and do other things, right? While going through the session, then for those people you mentioned earlier, they have no trouble falling asleep, but they worry so much, maybe really stressed out, and or for other reasons, their sympathetic system is too active, so they are easy to wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Then how can this still help them if this can only be on your head before sleep?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's frankly one that we're still studying in the lab. But the mental model is go back to the kid on the swing, right? Once you get the kid going on the swing, it actually does not take a lot of energy for someone to keep themselves swinging because of the momentum of the swing. Your brain is actually an oscillatory system. It's a series of electrical oscillators. So once you get those brain patterns swinging, once you get the brain waves operating on the right frequency, it doesn't take as much energy for the brain to continue to oscillate like that. And so what we've seen is if we can promote both sleep onset or level 1 sleep drowsiness, and also help the brain to transition through level 2 and into deep sleep for that first sleep cycle, then it becomes a lot more likely that the customer will get through the first 3, even 4 sleep cycles without a wake up.
Oh, okay. So I like the idea that, not just treat different symptoms of insomnia separately, really see sleep as a whole picture, kind of like what we say, well, sleep is not just a nighttime thing. Daytime, you need to do a lot of different activities, do a lot of like adjustment, lifestyle change to help you sleep better at night.
Yeah,
And it sounds like a similar idea. Before sleep, you can do certain things to adjust your brain wave in a way, and then can help you for the whole like the sleep period to be better overall, just improve the sleep quality, sounds like.
that's right. And the other thing that I would say that we've heard from customers is on the behavioral side, having that 15-minute routine actually is a very healthy sleep behavior in and of itself. So, obviously the important thing is they're getting the brain stimulation that's helping them neurologically to sleep. But the other thing that's, kind of nice is I just force myself to take 15 minutes and read a book, in bed instead of checking email or, thinking about the last presentation that I had to do or, getting on social media. And that that routine is, of course, a very healthy behavior for a lot of people and helping them to get to sleep.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too earlier. I was like, that's a nice nighttime ritual, right? Like we always say wind down period, you need to transit into sleep. But also what you just mentioned make me think how sad it is for nowadays, this fast-paced life. We have to really purposely, consciously force ourselves, take some time for ourselves to relax, to chill, and transit into sleep. We have so many things on our mind we could choose to do before sleep.
I guess it is a little bit sad, but I tend to focus on the positive, and I love that at StimScience we have an opportunity to help so many people to get back to sleeping well.
Mm-hmm. To go back to the natural way of sleep. Sounds like you guys are really trying to trying to promote the healthy, natural way of sleep, which is also us as sleep psychologists trying to do too. Use different method, but there definitely a lot of overlap, right? To help people realize your body can sleep and trust yourself, but you need to make some adjustment, some healthy adjustment so you can sleep naturally to make your biology really start working.
That's right. Yeah, it's an incredibly complex biological activity. But, for so many people, it doesn't take much to just, help them turn it around and get back to healthy sleep. And so, I think we're approaching it neurologically, you're approaching it psychologically, but, it's amazing to be able to just intervene in just the right way and be able to help somebody to get back to restorative sleep.
Yeah. So is your product already out? Can our listeners, if they're interested, can they just find it somewhere?
Yeah, it's available now for pre-order. So we just launched a campaign to start taking pre-orders, and your listeners can be among the first to order, and then we'll ship it later in the year. If they want to learn more, they can go to trysomnee.com. That's TRYSOMNEE.com.
Okay, great. So people know where to find it. And is there possible to have any small coupon code for the listeners? You don't have to, but it's something I always try to ask for the listener, just in case someone want that.
It's I don't blame you for asking. We're actually, for our pre-order campaign, offering close to 40% off the retail price. So if they take advantage of that now, they'll get really our lowest available price. They'll also get something while they wait, because we know a lot of people, they can't wait to get the product, and we understand that. And so while they wait, if you order now, you'll get a copy of Matt Walker's book, and you'll get a StimScience sleep guide that provides some behavioral changes that you can make to help improve your sleep immediately.
Interesting. Okay, good. good to know. And sounds like right now is possibly the best time to buy if people want to try it. Yeah, I look forward to you guys, really launch the product and start accumulating more data and publish more research out to help us, like not only the general public who are interested in improving their own sleep, but also our sleep providers to understand your product better, right? To understand how it works. So we have idea who to recommend to in our clinical work.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're very anxious to do that, and we'll be publishing more research in the very near term, so stay tuned.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Aaron, for coming and sharing all this wonderful information, this exciting new product with us.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to spend some time with you, and I'm looking forward to having the episode air.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you for watching our videos or listening to our podcast. If you like our show, please feel free to subscribe, like, and share it. If you have any questions or feedback, we would always love to hear from you. You can either email us or leave feedback on our website at mindbodygarden.com or directly under the YouTube video channel. Thank you very much for your company today, and hopefully to hear from you or have you with us next time.